Hi guys, I'm really glad that you're here. We often feel like there's something missing, like we don't feel happy because we're not rich enough, or nobody loves us and we feel devastated and alone. But are we really as unhappy as we think we are? Today I'm gonna tell you a real story of a little boy who lived all his life in isolation without being able to go out in the world. Perhaps after watching this video, you will really think about things you should appreciate in life. So here's how it all started. Like most people, David Joseph and Carol Ann Vetter wanted to have a child, but their dreams never came true. When their first child was born, he got diagnosed with severe combined immunodeficiency. It is a very serious disorder that doesn't let human immune system work properly. Because of this terrible disease, the child died when it was only 7 months old. And what's also very sad is that there was 50% chance that their second child would also have it. David and Carol were both devastated, although they were still hoping that their second child will be healthy. They always wanted a little boy, but their second child was Catherine, a very healthy little girl. This made parents feel optimistic about the future, and so they decided they were gonna go for the third child. The doctor said that even if the boy would have problems like the first child, his sister could be the bone marrow transplant donor. And before the operation, doctors suggested to put the child in a special sterile isolator to prevent any infectious diseases before the operation. Parents were very inspired and decided to try and go for the third child. And so in 1971, on September 21st, David Philip Vetter was born. Parents were incredibly happy. 10 seconds after David was born, they put him in a special isolator, and soon they found out that the boy also had the same dreadful disease. The boy also had immunodeficiency. It was established that the bone marrow of his older sister was not compatible with his own, and so transplantation was out of the question. Because the problem could not be solved, the bubble isolator has become the boy's second home. All the things the boy touched were thoroughly sanitized. Everything, from food and water to diapers and toys. All the things the boy touched were first treated with sanitizers before they were put inside the bubble. Things were first put inside a special chamber filled with ethylene oxide, where they spent at least 4 hours in 60 degrees. The process was followed by aeration, which took 7 days. Only then David could touch those things. And nobody could touch the boy unless they put on some rubber gloves built inside a bubble. After years have passed, the boy came to realize that he was different. When he was crying, nobody could hold and calm him down. His mom couldn't express her love to the boy. The pressure inside the bubble was provided by various motors that were rather loud. David could hardly hear his parents, and they almost couldn't hear him. The boy has become very irritable and depressed, mostly because he couldn't communicate with others properly. At some point, he's become aware of the hopelessness of his situation. When he was 4 years old, he accidentally pierced the bubble with a syringe that someone left inside of it. Perhaps he wanted to break out from the prison he was locked in. And so the parents had to tell him the truth about his condition, and they told him all about microbes. All that germ talk frightened the little boy. As he grew older, there was less and less space inside the bubble, and he had to be taken to more spacious areas. They would add more room to his bubble. They even made a special kind of 3x2 playing room for him. In 1975, many leading professionals in medical care gathered to talk over the ethical aspect of this situation. But nobody seemed to know just how long the boy would have to remain inside a bubble. Parents did everything they could to make the boy feel like a normal person. They even tried to simulate a school experience for him. A lot of famous people came to cheer him up. NASA specialists even came up with a special type of costume for him. But for a very long time, David was too scared to put it on. He was very much afraid of the germs. He just couldn't seem to leave the bubble he was trapped in all his life. Although, when the boy turned 6, curiosity took over, and he finally decided he was gonna leave the bubble. He was fascinated. For the first time in life, he saw things he never saw before. He saw the sun and the grass. He finally heard birds singing. All of that was like one immense discovery. He could finally play with his sister. He could jump around, watching all the many things that were happening around him all the time. He used to quarrel with his sister. He even hit her once with his glove. In turn, his sis would turn off his air supply every now and then. But of course this was nothing serious, because Catherine really loved her little brother. She used to sleep by his bubble many times because David was sometimes afraid to be left alone at night. In the early 80s, the US government started to consider David's life a very expensive experiment. Over $1.3 million were spent to keep the boy alive. But there was still absolutely no understanding of when they'll come up with any kind of remedy. And so the tension around David's situation was rising. Doctors suggested that parents would bring the boy out of the bubble, offering a gamma globulin and antibiotic therapy. They knew this will never do any good for their son, and they disagreed. There was only one solution, and it was a very risky one. The bone marrow transplant was their only chance, and as they couldn't find a better donor, it was up to his sister to help her little brother. For the past 12 years, medicine improved a lot, and so the family was really hoping that the operation would work. On the 23rd of October in 1983, the whole country was following the life of David. The operation went well, but already in December, David started to feel very bad. Turned out, David got Epstein-Barr virus, which is asymptomatic for most people, but for David, it was deadly. His condition worsened, and it was decided to get the boy out of the bubble. It was the first and the last time when the boy was touched by his mother. David asked his mom to give him some Coke, the drink he wanted to try for a very long time now. He couldn't try it before because it would lost all its taste after processing, and above that, doctors said he shouldn't drink it anyways because it's bad for his health. A few days later, David fell into a coma and eventually died. Here's what's written on his grave. He never touched the world, but the world was touched by him. Little David deserves to be remembered. His short life shows us that we have no right to feel bad about petty things in life, and that we should all try to understand what's really important to us. Most of us already have all the things we need. I hope you guys got touched by this story, and that from now on, you'll be more attentive to details and little things that really make you happy. After all, love, compassion, and gratitude are those essential things that we all need. Always remember that. The more people will feel this way, the better it is for the world. Maybe one day it will change for the better, and we'll finally get a chance to live in the world of peace, love, freedom, and unity. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with those who you love. Also, tell us what you think about the life of little David in the comments. See you next time!